today I'm going to be carving up a pumpkin, and we're going to be decorating just outside the front door for Samhain, which is in 4 days' time. I have a friend I would like to introduce you to. This is Horace. Horace has been with me now for 5 years. He is a permanent fixture in the house. He lives upstairs on the landing, and every night my little girl, who's 2, goes "Night night, Horace," as she goes past to bed. Say hello to Horace. But I'm going to pop him back there, and he's just going to oversee the proceedings. So I have not carved a pumpkin for a really long time, so see how this goes. Right, first things first, I need to draw on here what it's going to look like. Then we'll take the top off, take all of its guts out, and then start carving. Pop a candle in and I'll show you how we go. Oh, also, refreshments. I feel like a glass of something dark red is appropriate for this time of year. Cheers. I've got a Halloween themed orange knife. I've got a bowl for the guts, and I've got a spoon. Just going to do a simple design, because like I say, this really is the first time in a very long time since I've carved a pumpkin. I think the last time I must have been just a little child. I'm going to see if I can do a vampire. Let's see how that goes. So he's going to have eye, nose, let the light out, and then he's going to have vampire teeth. He's quite friendly, this one. Like just like more scary one than the next one. Cut into there. And then let's give him some sharp teeth at the bottom. I feel like a vampire ought to have sharp bottom teeth as well as top teeth. Then next, top off the lid. When you're carving your pumpkin, go in at an angle. And that way the lid will come off easily. Sometimes a larger knife helps. But this is actually, it's very easy, but it's actually, I hate to say it, quite therapeutic, because being allowed to drive a knife. Am I scaring you? Later on in this video, I'm going to have a little fireside chat with you. And one of the things I'm going to talk about is the origins of the pumpkin. When you pull the lid off, you pull out quite a bit of the guts. We're going to keep that. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut off all of this stuff. We don't want that on our pumpkin. We'll just cut that off, because this little lid is going to go back on. You've taken off your lid, you've cut off that bit there, it'll go back on later on. Take your spoon and get digging. This is the fun and disgusting bit. It's really gross, but some strangely and oddly satisfying. So scoop around until you've got out all the stringy bits, all the seeds. You can eat these pumpkins too. So once they've done their duty as your jack-o'-lantern, with one of my pumpkins, I'm going to eat it. I'll probably turn it into risotto or soup or something. And the other pumpkin is going to go into the garden for the squirrels and the birds. Our little feathered and furred friends need as much help as they can get this time of year. And I think it's going to be a cold winter. He's looking good. He's looking good. Hoping he turns out vampire-y. If he doesn't, then he's just going to have to be just a normal jack-o'-lantern. And this is fun. I can't believe I haven't done this for years. Creating stuff is just something I just don't do very often, and I really should. For a first pumpkin carving in probably 20-something years. Yes, I'm that old. This is going incredibly well. I'm very proud of myself. and welcome to my fireside, and also to what is probably going to be the first of many fireside chats. So this fireside chat is to tell you a little bit about why I'm only just doing YouTube now at the age of 39. And it's also to talk to you a little bit about the origins of the traditions that we have for Halloween, and how pagans such as myself celebrate this time of year. So I will start with my story. All of my life up until around about 2 months ago, I had a real issue with people pleasing, as in, if I did anything, I would have to make sure that everyone or someone was happy with it. I needed permission to do anything and everything, and I was so easily swayed into doing what people thought was best for me in my life. So this basically made it so that I was scared of being myself. I was scared of living the way that I wanted to live. When I was young, I wanted to be a vet, but I was told I wasn't clever enough. So instead of, proving them wrong, I accepted that, and I went, well, they don't think I'm clever enough, whoever they are, because there's always a they, isn't there, and a them. And so long and the short of it is that I didn't become a vet. I found myself working as a quality manager in the food company, which is very legislative, it's very analytical, it's very left brain. It's the kind of job where you've got to get it right. If you get it wrong, then there is a possibility that people will become extremely ill or worse. So, that was basically my life up until 2.5 years ago, when my daughter was born. I made the decision to leave Cornwall and to leave my job, both at the same time, and that kind of started a time of my life which was incredibly difficult. And the difference between the hard times before and the hard time this time was that tiny little girl in my arms who needed me to be strong and empowered and independent. She needed me to be there for her, and what I needed was to know that as her mum, I raised her to be strong and strong-willed. Don't want her having dreams that somebody that she might not even know says to her that's a silly dream, and her just to pack it in. Don't want that for her. So I recognised that the only way that I could give her the start in life that I want her to have was to become that person who basically walked the talk. I'm saying I want her to be strong and independent and driven and ambitious and brave. I wasn't those things. I was timid. I was so worried about what other people thought that I made very bad choices for me. On paper they looked great, but in reality, for my soul, my spirit, it was completely out of alignment with who I am and what my values are. And it's only this year, during lockdown, far from my spiritual home of Cornwall, back in the place where I come from. So I've gone full circle. I worked very hard to get away from this place, and ultimately I've come back. But by doing that, it has given me perspective on, and given me clarity on exactly what I want for me in my life. So by recognising that, I was able to get the help that I needed, and yes, I do mean therapy, to help me to understand why I was a people pleaser, to understand why I was a perfectionist, and to then break those cycles to heal me from the need to people. I believe that your own opinion is most important to you because only you know your life. So part of my therapy was kind of a game that I've played in the past. I'd forgotten. And then having therapy brought those memories back of who I am. But the game is called What's the Worst That Can Happen? So I did this for my YouTube channel. What's the worst that can happen if I start a YouTube channel? Number one, my face is on the internet for all to see should they choose to click on the link. And for me, as a people pleaser, what if people don't like that? But you know what? I can't live like that. You can't live like that. You can't base your reality on someone else's reality, because I was not starting a YouTube channel because I thought people wouldn't approve. And at 39 years old, I shouldn't I'll talk about the word should in another video, but at 39 years old, other people's opinions of me really are totally irrelevant. I've got far too much life experience to let somebody else sway me at this age. But so what's the worst that could happen for me starting a YouTube channel? I get some nasty comments. People don't like it. They don't like what I have to say. I become super famous and really busy and travel all the time. Actually, that's probably the worst that could happen, because I would be, well, no, I wouldn't. I'd work around it and I wouldn't be away from my daughter. So what's the worst that could happen if I start a YouTube channel? Nothing. What's the worst that could happen if I don't start a YouTube channel? I live with an unfulfilled dream for my whole life. And as somebody who has a whole lot of unfulfilled dreams in their past, living with another one, it was just too much to bear. I couldn't justify, at the age of 39, not living a dream. And so here I am on my very own YouTube channel, waffling away. And do you know what? If whoever's watching this, if you don't like it, if you don't like me, if we don't gel, or I'm not on your level, or you're not on mine, or we're not on the same vibration, then that's absolutely fine. You don't have to do anything or be anywhere that you don't want to do or don't want to be, because your life and the way you spend your precious time that you have here on this earth is so important. So if you don't like me, if you don't like what I'm saying, if you don't like my videos, please go and find somebody that you do like. Spend your time doing things that make you happy, because that is the only way to live. That's where I've come from. I've come from this crippling belief system that I needed people to tell me what to do, or to, give me permission. Giving me permission to do the things I wanted. I'm telling people I'm doing YouTube. It's on Facebook, I do YouTube. It's on Instagram, I do YouTube. And yeah, I'm not great at YouTube, but I've only just started. And that is something that I want you to remember as well. When you start something, you're not going to be great at it. You don't set foot out the door and run a marathon on the first day. You practice and you get better and better and better. And that goes for everything. There are people who are naturally gifted, but even gifted people need to develop that gift. So that was the first thing I wanted to talk to you about, is that being in thrall with someone else's opinion or requiring their approval or their validation is not serving you at all. So what can you do about this? Do something outrageous. Alright, so whatever outrageous looks like to you. Put sugar in your tea or your coffee. Wear purple eyeshadow and go outside for a walk. find something which empowers you, something which is going to ignite your soul. It doesn't matter what it is. Watch a racy film if you want to. Tell someone you love them. I mean, that's basically the ultimate, isn't it? It's you know, bearing your heart and soul to someone and telling them how you feel, because there is a real risk to you. There's a risk to your heart and your soul. But I'll tell you this, as somebody who has lost love because I didn't think that he would approve, or I didn't think I was good enough, or somebody told me it would never work, I regretted that every day. So really it is better to know than not know, because he felt the same, but I never knew. So in a moment I'll move on to Halloween, but just to wrap this bit up, in a nutshell, my story is I've overcome the need for me to have other people's approval, validation and permission. And in doing that, I've started a YouTube channel, which has been a dream for me ever since YouTube has existed. I never thought that I could do it, but here I am. I'm feeling quite confident. I'm loving it, actually. It's so much fun. It's really, really fun. And if I'd never tried, I'd never have known. Or I could have just made one video and then dropped it forever, and that's, you know, that's fine. I've tried lots of things, I've started lots of things that I haven't pursued because I haven't enjoyed it. So find something you love and go and do it. Not everyone will approve of you. You might as well give them something to disapprove of. And the second thing I want to talk about in our little fireside chat is Samhain and Halloween. So Samhain is the pagan festival of the harvest, and it's also the New Year. And this is the time of the year when we believe that the veil between the worlds is at its thinnest. And this means that spirits are able to cross from wherever spirits are to here, this world, and many of the modern Halloween traditions that we have come from the traditions, the original things that we did to confuse those spirits. So if you're going to be talking with spirits, you want to be talking to the ones who you want to be talking to. You want to be talking with your ancestors, and not with spirits that you don't know or don't want. So to make sure that the spirits that were approaching the home or entering the home and interacting with people are the right ones, the wrong ones need to be confused. And the way that's done is by dressing up, by wearing masks so they don't know who you are, by doing pranks, which is where the trick part of trick-or-treating comes from, and also by carving pumpkins. So the jack-o'-lantern, which is the carved pumpkin, originated in Ireland, and the purpose of it is to create a face in an inanimate object, originally turnips, now pumpkins, and that is to confuse the spirits and to send them away, because they're seeing something that they don't understand, so they go away. The treat part of the trick-or-treat is, because Samhain is the harvest festival, part of the harvest was given as offerings to the spirits. So bread or cider or fruit maybe was left out for the spirits on Samhain night, and that's now become the giving out of sweets. The way that we celebrate Halloween in the 21st century, by confusing, by wearing masks, by dressing up, by carving jack-o'-lanterns, and by making lots of noise and lots of tricks, it all stems from the original practices of confusing spirits who come over because the veil is thin. And the practice of giving out sweets comes from the offerings that we would leave out to the spirits for a good harvest, or as thanks for a good harvest, and for a good harvest next year. The other aspect of Samhain is that it's also the Pagan New Year, and it's a great time to let go of things that you don't want, such as seeking people's approval or their validation or their permission, all things that we don't need because we're in control of our thoughts, and we hold the power to create the life that we want to have. And we can't do that if we're listening to other people. We've got to listen to ourselves. So the way to release these things, very simple little ceremony: write it down on a little piece of paper and then burn it. And as the ashes disappear off into the universe, allow that belief, that thing that you're getting rid of, to go with it. A second way of harnessing the new year power, and especially since it's a full moon this year, is to create your intention for the coming year, creating a blueprint for your future, journaling or vision boarding, however you want to do it. And it could be as simple as writing half a page on what your life wants to be like, or it could be as complex as truly envisioning every single aspect. So, very briefly, that is the traditions and the history of Samhain, how it became Halloween, and the things that you can do to celebrate and to honour your ancestors this year. The next time I see you, it is going to be Halloween night, and I am going to be hosting what is known as a dumb supper, so that's going to be the next video. If you have liked this video, then please consider subscribing, give me a like, drop me a comment. How are you going to be celebrating Halloween, Samhain? Do you have your own tradition in the absence of being able to trick or treat or have a party? So I really do hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will, in just a moment, I will be showing you the outside of the house with the Halloween Samhain decorations out there, so stay tuned for that. I'm not going to be talking through that, I'm not going to be talking at you during that bit, so yeah, enjoy, have a blessed Samhain, a wonderful Halloween, a fabulous week, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, folks. Bye.